Welcome, WNBA fans. I'm covering the Chicago Sky versus the Phoenix Mercury. Phoenix ended up winning pretty easily, 107-86, and they took their foot off the gas because they had 92 at the end of the third, so they only scored 15. Well, that's still 15 points, but the last shot was a three by Kalani Brown. They had in the fourth they had finally started to miss threes, but the second and third quarter, they were raining threes. It was just one after the other. Sammy Whitcomb, just beautiful backspin on her shot, just raining threes. And then Copper was hitting them, and then Cole McConney hit a couple. But it was mainly Sammy Whitcomb. She hit like three or four in a row in the second quarter. It was pretty crazy. As far as Chicago, they did okay in the first, and then they kind of made a run. But once Phoenix started hitting those threes, there wasn't much they could do. I mean, they have to do a little bit better with their passing. Sometimes the passer will make the pass, and the person on the receiving end isn't moving towards the ball, and then the defender just steps in front of it, and it gets intercepted. So I saw that a few times, well, more than a few times, but that's something they have to improve on. And what was interesting is they were saying that this is their fourth game in 6 days, and they were expecting them to be tired, but they were on fire. I mean, it was crazy. They were on fire. Yeah, the box score, Phoenix was up 31-18 in the first, and then Chicago held their own. They actually outscored them in the second. But then that's when, I think Chicago was actually gaining on them. And then late in the second, Phoenix just started nailing threes. So actually, it was Phoenix outscored Chicago 27-25. But they were still, it was reasonable at that point. But then the third quarter, Phoenix just went crazy, and 34-15. And then in the fourth quarter, they had pretty much taken out all their starters, and Chicago got some points in the end. But Cardoso played pretty well in the beginning. Atkins was hustling all around. But in the first, Satu Sabali was the one hitting. She had 12 points in the first quarter, and then she got in foul trouble. So she was pretty much out of the game. I think she got one more. She came in later in the game and got another basket and a foul. So, but it was mostly Whitcomb and then Copper, and then Alyssa Thomas is always in there. She was making a lot of the passes. But Chicago had been down by 36 at one point. So they made it, reasonably, what is that, 21 points. They lost by 21 points. They had 20 turnovers, but Phoenix had 19. But most of those probably came later in the game. So look at scoring. Let's see what we got here. For Chicago, Cardoso had 17. Most of that came in the first half. She was 7 for 9, 77%, 3 for 5 at the foul line. Key Nurse had 10 points. She only shot 2 for 7 from 3, so that hurt them. Ariel Atkins was 5 for 8, 2 for 2 from 3. She had 13 points. And Michaela Olienwene, I can't pronounce her name really well. She had 17, but a lot of that was in what they would call garbage time in the fourth. Angel Reese had 9. She only had 3 rebounds. Yeah, her and Cardoso have got to get more rebounds for Chicago to be successful. Elizabeth Williams came in the second half, and she played pretty well, but, by then the game was over. She had 8 points. Haley Van Lith had 4. Satu Sabali for Phoenix had 15, and 12 of that was in the first quarter. Alyssa Thomas had 11. She had 8 assists. Catherine Westbeld had 8. She had a couple threes. She was part of that 3 crazy. I had it in my notes here. They had tied the WNBA record for most 3.5 with 12. So that's how crazy it got. It was it was nuts. Copper had 16. Sammy Whitcomb had 17. She was 5 for 10. She was 50% from the 3-point line. And that was all she took. She took 10 shots, all threes, made 5 of them. Laska had a couple of them. She made 3 3-pointers. She had 11 points. Kalani Brown came in late in the game. She got 11 points. She had that last 3-pointer. And that was pretty much it. It was just something that, Chicago was just outmatched. And Phoenix is going to beat a lot of teams if they shoot like that. They played, the team I covered mostly is the Valkyries, and, we had them. The Valkyries had them, and then they made threes down the stretch, and they ended up beating us. So don't feel bad, Chicago. They're beating a lot of people. Okay. Everyone have a good day.